Hello out there everyone, welcome back to another AOG Lifestyle video. In today's video, we're going to be going over 5 things to avoid when sharing the gospel. Now, if you've never been to our channel before, our channel is all about Jesus. And one of the ways we like to communicate with people is the comment section below. Also, our email address, which is aoglifestyle2020@gmail.com. Our social media pages, we have Instagram and we have Facebook that we mainly communicate with right now. And we also would ask that you like and share our videos and subscribe to our channel just to help us get out there a little more and so that more people can see our videos and can potentially help more people that way. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. Alright, so the number one thing I have on the list of things to avoid today is going to be sharing the gospel in order to prove that someone is wrong about what they believe in. We have people out there that believe in all different things. You have different sections of Christianity that believe differently. You have people that are atheists that believe differently. And a lot of times before you ever even go up to that person and share the gospel, especially if they're a friend or someone that you work with, you already know what they believe. You don't want to go up to them with the intention of proving that they're wrong and their beliefs are wrong, because you're going to create an argument. You're going to probably create offense between you and that person possibly, and even begin to get them angry. And what that's going to do is going to make it even harder for you to share the gospel with them. It's going to make it even harder in the future for anyone else to share the gospel with them. You want to avoid these arguments altogether. Alright, so moving on to the second thing I have on the list of things to avoid when sharing the gospel, which is similar to the first thing, but it's also very different. So in this scenario, let's say you're sharing the gospel with someone because you love them and because you want to see them get saved. And while sharing the gospel with them, they disagree with a certain point in the gospel that you're trying to explain. Let's say they disagree with you that good works are not needed to get to heaven. They believe that you have to be a good person, basically. So in this situation, what you want to do, or at least what I like to do, is get out my Bible and look up the verses that go along with what you believe. That way you can show them why you believe what you believe. You don't want to just continually argue with them. And sometimes that's what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to just simply argue over a certain point. And at this point, when they're just wanting to argue, you are getting away from sharing the gospel with them. You don't want to just keep arguing. What I like to do is to let them know, hey, I don't want to keep arguing about it. I've kind of showed you what I believe, and if you want to get back to this conversation at a later date, we can. And what that'll do is it'll kind of, stew in their mind. They'll think about it. A lot of times this is a good way to plant a seed in someone, and they'll dwell on it, and they'll be like, you know what, I want to know more. Let this person talk to me more. And they might even go home and pray about it, and God will bring them back to you. But arguing with them is not what you want to do. Alright, so moving on to the third thing on the list of things to avoid when sharing the gospel. And the third thing I have for you is to avoid going up to someone and sharing the gospel with them with the intent of putting conviction on that person's heart or trying to change who they are. We have to remember that we are not here to change people. God is the one that's going to change them. We have to have faith that once we share the gospel with them, that Jesus will come into their heart, and that if they seek that relationship with Jesus, God is going to change their life from the inside out. Alright, so moving on to the fourth thing I have for you today of things to avoid when trying to share the gospel. And the fourth thing I have for you is that you don't want to intend on a relationship such as boyfriend or girlfriend or husband and wife to get someone saved. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14 tells us to not be unequally yoked. And it's not that these relationships and these marriages don't lead to someone getting saved. It's that God wants to save you from the heartache and the pain and the suffering of being in these relationships. I mean, if you could only imagine even having kids with someone that doesn't believe in God in the same way you do, and your kids learning from that person, that alone should be enough to tell you that being unequally yoked with someone is not a good idea. So moving on to the fifth and final thing that I have for you today, and the fifth and final thing is going to be something that you're not always going to be able to do, but when you can do it, you should, and that is avoid distractions. Now, these distractions can be anything, but I'm going to be using the example of you being in your own home and sharing the gospel with a friend or family member. And while you're sharing the gospel with them, say you have loud music or the TV on, you want to be able to turn those things off and be able to share the gospel with them in the least distracting environment that you can get. And this also includes, you don't want to get distracted by other topics. Try to keep focus on what you're talking about. That way you can effectively share the gospel with them and potentially get someone saved, and these distractions don't distract you or them from what God's trying to tell you in that moment while you're sharing the gospel with them. So that's all I have for you today. Those are the 5 things that I try to avoid when I'm sharing the gospel. Now, I know avoiding these things have helped me become better at effectively sharing the gospel with people, and helped me become a better speaker to people whenever I am sharing the gospel. And I hope this helped you today. I hope that maybe this enlightened you on some things that you might be doing wrong when I'm sharing the gospel, or maybe you already have it down. I don't know. But one of the reasons we started this channel is to help people grow in their relationship with people, and what better way to grow in a relationship with God than telling other people about who He is and what He's done for us, and how He sent His Son for us, and how His Son died for us. I can't think of a better way to spend time with God and to spend time with other people. So if you did enjoy this video, once again, just leave comments. Leave us an email in our email. Once again, that is aoglifestyle2020@gmail.com. Get on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and as always, keep on the full armor of God, and I hope you have a blessed day.